What you see here now is a series of sweaters I commissioned for my sister. Now that autumn is kicking into gear, it's time to release them into the world. You may be wondering why they look so freaky. For anyone unfamiliar, this is a material called Alpha Direct. It's extremely desirable for anybody who participates in outdoor sports or activities. The reason being that the mesh pattern makes them extremely warm but also breathable. As far as I'm aware, for its weight, it's the warmest material that's commercially available. Thanks to its breathability, you don't need to worry about overheating compared to traditional fleeces. What we decided to make were two versions that I expect to account for the majority of use cases. There's a 60 GSM version that for most people is comfortable as active wear in what we'll call Canadian summers of above 10 degrees. Then there's the 90 GSM version, which is more durable and a denser fabric. That allows it to be warmer and should be comfortable down to near or sub-zero temperatures with appropriate layering. On the topic of layering, it's probably the most boring topic I could cover, but this type of garment really benefits from a purposeful approach. Obviously, the most common use case would be simply tossing it over your base layer, whether you're running or hiking. One of the downsides of the breathability is that wind also cuts through extremely easily. So when you're in a circumstances such as summiting a mountain, it can feel quite cold. So in those sorts of circumstances, what's usually recommended is throwing over a shell on top. So whether it's a rain shell or a wind shell, that will allow the insulating factor to still come into play and keep you nice and warm. Another case I found is that mosquitoes tend to love to poke through the little holes in the shirt. My solution to this sort of situation is to use the loft of the sweater to my advantage. So instead, I'll put the sweater on underneath my traditional base layer. The loft will keep a physical barrier between my skin and the biters, keeping me nice and safe. Easy enough, and I use the sweater as a sleep shirt too, so this is a swap I make whenever I get to camp. This is all well and good, but who is this sweater, jumper, pullover, whatever you want to call it? Who is it for? Number one, anyone that participates in any sort of active outdoors activity. So whether that's running, hiking, cycling, boating, anything where you have a chance of working up a sweat, you love a cozy feeling, and you hate the clammy feeling that you get from traditional fleeces, I think this is a really good option. Second, anyone that appreciates the quick drying nature of this fabric, as well as the breathability that comes with it. And last but not least, people that are into long distance hiking and really appreciate the potential that it comes to lightening your load. If you want to pursue the quote-unquote ultralight type of camping experience, this is something that can help you get there. It's all well and good, but sadly this fabric is not without compromise. The fabric's main weakness is getting caught and snagged on sharp objects. So I'd strongly advise against wearing it as an outer layer whenever you're doing anything like bushwhacking. And as sad as it is to admit, even wearing it around my house, I get a bit nervous seeing my cat's claws. These are the type of things you need to keep in mind. It is a bit fragile when it comes to sharp objects. I've not noticed any abrasion issues, but when it comes to sharps, that is a concern for sure. Another tragic part is the mesh can actually look a bit too sexy for many social gatherings, so something to keep in mind. The other consideration of my offerings in particular is that I don't have many large sizes left. They ended up being a lot more popular than I expected, so I think I only have one or two left. The rest are going to be size medium. That note, actually a reminder about the sizes. They're meant to be a little bit loose, but not baggy and not form-fitting, so somewhere in the middle. Right now I'm wearing a size large. You can see a bit of a comparison in these other videos to see what the different sizes look like on me in particular between medium and large. But if you end up getting one of my Alpha Direct sweaters or another maker's, I would genuinely recommend it for anyone who wants to be more comfortable when doing their outdoors pursuits. Enjoy and have fun.